Old Farmer Briggs had spent a lifetime tending to his land, nestled amidst the rolling hills of Greene County. It was a place of simple pleasures and enduring beauty, where every sunrise brought a new promise and every sunset whispered secrets of the day gone by. One crisp autumn morning, while his faithful dog, Rufus, bounded ahead with an eagerness that belied his age, Farmer Briggs felt an unusual sense of anticipation in the air. The foliage had begun to change, painting the landscape in hues of amber and crimson, and there was a certain stillness that suggested something out of the ordinary was about to unfold. As they meandered down the familiar path, the crunch of leaves underfoot was a comforting soundtrack. With a mix of trepidation and curiosity, Farmer Briggs followed. In moments, they arrived at a small, overgrown thicket where Rufus stood guard, barking insistently. As Farmer Briggs pushed through the tangles of briars and low-hanging branches, he discovered the source of Rufus's excitement: a young fox, its paw ensnared in a rusted trap. The sight was both heart-wrenching and infuriating. The fox, with its sleek, rust-colored fur and frightened brown eyes, was desperately struggling against the device that had cruelly captured it. The shock of the situation struck Farmer Briggs. In all his years of farming, he had never been one to set traps. How this one came to be, there was a mystery, but it was evident that it had wrought a terrible fate on the hapless creature. With careful movements, Farmer Briggs knelt beside the frightened fox, whose eyes darted back and forth, measuring the threat level of both man and dog. Rufus, sensing the tension in the air, settled down at Farmer Briggs's side, offering quiet reassurance. "Easy there, girl," he murmured gently, his voice soothing as he approached the injured animal. The last thing he wanted was to escalate its fear. He took a deep breath, assessing the trap with its sharp metal jaws and rusty mechanism. It was a grim reminder of humanity's tendency to control nature rather than coexist with it. But he knew that now was not the time for judgment. He had to act. With determined hands, Farmer Briggs disentangled the thorny vines that surrounded the trap. The fox's frightened eyes locked onto his, and for a fleeting moment, he felt an unexplainable connection, a silent understanding that transcended the boundaries of their species. "Just hold on a little longer," he whispered, his heart aching for the creature's suffering. Adrenaline coursed through him as he fumbled to release the catch of the trap. Each click echoed like the beating heart of the woods, punctuating the silence that cocooned them. After several tense moments that felt like an eternity, he finally succeeded. The trap sprang open, and the fox, with a flick of its tail, was free. For a heartbeat, they all stood still: Farmer Briggs, Rufus, and the newly liberated fox. Then, as if a spell had been broken, the fox bolted into the safety of the underbrush. A flash of orange, a rustle of leaves, and it disappeared from sight, leaving only the faintest trace of its passing. Farmer Briggs sighed deeply. The thrill of the rescue coursed through him, mingling with relief as he felt a swell of pride for his devoted companion who had directed him to this moment. Rufus barked joyfully, tail wagging as if he knew they had just shared a moment of true significance. Farmer Briggs reached down to pat his companion, grateful for the bond they shared, built over years in the fields. Each creature, no matter how small or seemingly inconsequential, played a role in the delicate balance of nature. His encounter with the trapped fox had reminded him of the fragility of life and the importance of kindness. It was a lesson he hoped to impart to the grandchildren who visited during the summer, teaching them to respect the wilderness and its denizens. As dusk set in, painting the sky in purples and golds, Farmer Briggs stowed away the tools of the day and settled into his creaky old rocking chair on the porch, with Rufus settling at his feet. Together, they watched the gentle shift of the day into night, the stars beginning to twinkle overhead. his heart, he made a silent promise to always heed the call of the wild. For not every heart was as fortunate as his own.